After 1833 Act, we come to 1857, the Sepoy Mutiny, a very important event in the British history. Sepoy Mutiny, there was a huge riot in India. The British call it Sepoy Mutiny. We don't agree with it. We say it's the first freedom struggle of India, wherein we demanded, we wanted the British to be driven out of this land. We will go to that in the coming chapters. We will not discuss much about it, but 1757, I said, it was Plassey War. Exactly 100 years. That's how I remember. 1857, Sepoy Mutiny. The British Empire shuddered at the kind of riot that got spread over the entire North Indian plains. What was it because? Why did it happen? I told, whatever the British did, it was not from the bottom of their heart. There's maladministration. The East India Company, its misdeeds left scars on the minds of Indians. Lot of anti-Indian acts. Whatever the British East India Company did, it was all for their welfare, to make money. Tons and tons of gold and cash and raw materials was getting transferred to Britain. Administration of India was handed over to the British Queen. Administration of India, they felt East India Company will not be able to carry it on here afterwards. They are not fit to go ahead with that all. They will not do justice. They will bring us a bad name and we lose India later. So they said, now onwards, the East India Company will cease to be a functionary and all the control will get vested with the British Queen. So now here afterwards, the 1858 Act, then 1892 Act, 1909 Act, 1919 Act, 1935 Act, one by one. You don't get it exactly at 20 years now. Here afterwards, all these turn to be historically important. Let us see how it goes. From here onwards, things are different. So far we had the East India Company. Here afterwards, powers got vested with the British Queen. Let's see now how things change. How changes get set in. So the next one, what we have is 1858, just after the Sepoy Mutiny. Just after the Sepoy Mutiny, no doubt, Sepoy Mutiny failed. The first freedom struggle failed. What happened? 1858 India Government Act, what did it carry? What are the changes? An important act. Friends, let's see that. India came under the direct rule of the British government. I told you already. On 1st of November 1858, a key date, East India Company lost its hold on India. We came under the direct control or direct rule of the British government under the Queen. Queen, she started governing India. Who was she? She was Victoria. Queen Victoria, the Queen of England, Victoria, announced that all-round development of India would be ensured by the British government. We understand that no progress has taken place as regards the territories under our control are concerned, because the East India Company was controlling. Henceforth, it will be directly under me and the British Parliament. We will take up all the necessary steps to see that all-round development of India does take place. The license of the East India Company stood cancelled. The post of the Governor General, we used to say Governor General, Wellesley, Warren Hastings, all these names. Even Dalhousie, the last Governor General is Dalhousie. Now that Governor General's post was changed into Viceroy. Viceroy. Roy stands for royal, royal control. Vice, only next to the British Queen. He will report to the British Parliament and British Queen. So Viceroy next to the royal head, because the Queen cannot be here all the time, Queen or King, whoever it be. So his regent should be there, fully empowered to take all the needed steps. So the post of Governor General was changed into Viceroy. 1858 Government Act. Lord Canning, he was sent to India as the first Viceroy of India. First Viceroy of India was Lord Canning. A new post was called. A new post called Secretary of State for India was created, because Viceroy himself will find very difficult to control all the territories spread over the subcontinent. So he was given a very prominent office bearer next to him. He is Secretary of State for India. Secretary of State, a very chief post, an important post. Who would be the advisor to the Viceroy? The entire British bureaucracy will be under that. It was created. Secretary of State for India was created, and he would be a part of the British cabinet. He would be a part of the British cabinet. The British cabinet would be in London. He was a member. He was responsible for the administration. You can almost say Prime Minister and President. Secretary is like Prime Minister and President is Viceroy. You can compare. I am just helping you to understand what the things are. Entire administration has to be looked after by the Viceroy. It's nominal. But actually, the Secretary of State will be functioning. He was a key figure in this new governance system. A Council of India was created with 15 members, another important aspect, with 15 members to assist the Secretary in administration. So Secretary was not alone. Under him, there was a council of 15 members. All learned people, they sit, discuss, debate and come to decisions, and thereby they will be able to suggest the Secretary as to what is to be done from the viewpoint of governance. Now let us come to India Councils Act 1861, because a council has got appointed, so they started calling it Indian Councils Act. But Councils Act is a government act. Don't think it's different. Only nomenclature got changed. Indian Councils Act is nothing but government act. Indian Councils Act of 1861, an important act that came into effect after 1857 mutiny, riots. The independence struggle was Indian Councils Act. Now here, policy of assertion, it is known as. Policy of assertion came into effect under the Indian Councils Act. Indians were nominated to the Council of Viceroy as non-official members. Indians were insisting on that. We want to take part in governance. We want to be a part of government. We can't be just slaves. We can't go and just accept whatever you decide. So they said, we will nominate Indians to the Council of Viceroy as non-official members. Not official members, you will be able to put forth whatever you feel. You can recommend and we take it seriously and decide, the British government said. So Indians were nominated. Nomination at least began now. Indians were nominated to the Council of Viceroy as non-official members. Viceroy was authorized to proclaim ordinances in case of emergency because Britain was far away. You can't take permission from there. So whenever ordinances have to be proclaimed, the Viceroy had absolute powers vested in him. Then Indians were allowed to participate in the process of framing laws. Before any law was framed by the Council of Viceroy, they used to pass it on to the Indian members, nominated members, to discuss and give their suggestions. Representation to Indians, understanding their aspirations. Now this is what you find in all these. Indians were recognized. Okay, you too have some suggestions. You have something to say. You want to speak out your heart. All right. You suggest, you recommend, we will decide. So trying to understand the aspirations of India by the Council of the Viceroy is what is termed as policy of assertion. They said, we are interested in you. How far it was carried on is a secondary thing. At least vocally they said, we are interested in Indians. We want to give some regard to what you say.